I hope that you will learn something from this talk that I'm going to share. So please, if the slides are up, if you can bring it up. So I've been asked to share with you advancing your career and creating multiple streams of income, right? It's very, very important topic. And I hope that for the young people here, the old people here, you will learn something. And I hope that I'll leave enough time also for questions. But I also have to also say this, that straight after my talk, I might not stay till the end because I'm speaking elsewhere. So I will have to leave you very quickly and go that way. So if you see me disappearing, it's not because I'm done and I'm being arrogant, but I have to be somewhere else, right? So this is a very important topic, and I'm hoping that I'll do it justice so that you get the information that you need and you'll be able to go through it. These are the things that I want us to discuss today, right? So we're looking at what is career. We're looking at some few terminologies in the career. We're also looking at steps for career growth, right? And then we'll also be talking about multiple streams of income, types of income streams, how to create multiple income streams, and then also overcoming the challenges. And I think some of it has been mentioned already, and then we'll conclude and then we'll go to the questions afterwards. Just a quick disclaimer, because most of the time when I speak different places, I like to put this disclaimer there that I'm not a financial advisor, so just make sure that you don't quote me on certain things. What I'm sharing with you is purely for educational purposes and is based on my experiences that I've had over time, and is also to inspire you. Is the mission, right? So just make sure that you keep that in mind. Since we're believers, there's always important principle. One of the principles that I've lived by, and I think is very important, is this scripture here that I'd like to share with you, Matthew 25:14-30, the parable of the talents. You can learn a lot of different life lessons from this story. But the key thing that I want us to pick up today, based on the talk that I'm just going to have with you, is on the fact that God expects all of us to be good and faithful servants, good and faithful stewards, right? God has also given every single person a skill. God has given you talent. And that's the reason why in the example in the story, it says that a master is leaving and then he calls his servants and then what? He gives talents to them. So God has already given you something. So for young, especially when I speak to young people and they say, I don't have anything, I don't know what I'm good at, it means that you haven't searched hard enough. God has given every single person something. So whether it be talent, skill, gift, money, relationship, whatever God has given you, God is expecting a return on his investment. So what you have, God is expecting you to maximize what he has given you. Whether that is 2 talents, whether that is 1 talent, whether that is 5 talents. God is expecting you to do what? Maximize that God has given you. So at some point, we all have to account to God, right? And that's where it's very good to understand that the response is either going to be good and faithful servant or be like, you lazy person. Right? And I hope that won't be anyone's case here. Right? But that's the one thing that I want you to, as I go through the conversation that I'm going to have today with you, I hope that this will be something that will be at the back of your mind so that you manage anything that you have, you manage it well. So what is the career? So there is this person, Michael Arthur, who is a career study expert. Right? And he's got this definition, and I think it's very important that we understand that definition. It's the evolving sequence of a person's work experience over time. So when we talk about career is not what you're doing now. Career is a whole long process, right? So when we look at career, we're looking at all the experiences, all the different roles that you've had over time, right? That's what we're looking at. And we'll also look at, obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the one thing that we're going to look at is career growth, right? Because then we need to understand some of these things in order for us to excel or succeed in life. But this is the definition that I want you to also keep at the back of my mind. When I'm talking about career, this is what I want you to be thinking about. So there are some terminologies that occasionally is being used interchangeably, but there are slight differences, and I just want to make sure that we get that right? So we have career development. Career development is the ongoing process of you gaining new skill or enhancing the skill that you have. As I said, everyone has got a skill. So if you've identified that skill, then you want to enhance that skill and also learn new ones, right? So it's very, very key. So when it comes to career development, the focus with that is that you want to just enhance yourself. That's what the career development. You want to enhance yourself so that you remain competitive. You remain competitive in the job market. Yeah, you want to be at the marketplace, you want to be very competitive, and the only way for you to do that is for you to do what? Enhance the skills that you have. And then we have the career advancement, right? Which is what we're going to spend most of the time talking about career growth, but the advancement is part of that, right? So career advancement is the process of moving up the chain, right? So you start as a junior, you want to be a senior, then you kind of move, and that's what we see as a career advancement. So the focus of that is you're gaining promotion. So this is where you focus on promotion, you focus more on getting more responsibilities here and there, right? And then we come to career growth. Career growth is, as I said, is a long-term process. So this is where if you're here today, whether you're old, young, you can actually create your own career path and career journey. And the career growth is where you focus and say, okay, I want to be here at this stage, I want to do this at this stage, I want to do that at this stage, right? So when it comes to career growth, it's basically focusing more on achieving a career goals that you have set based on your planning. So we'll be going through how we actually set some career goals, and I'll help you with that. Hopefully, it will help you and go a long way. So some people will have a tendency to say, okay, you are a junior, I want to be in a leadership position, I want to be in management position and things like that. And as our brother was sharing earlier, these are all good things for you to have, but you need to have a plan in order for you to be able to get to that stage. So understanding these three different terminologies is very key so that when I'm talking about it, you understand. But one thing you could take out from this is that the career growth, you can see that career development, career advancement, actually falls within the career growth, right? So when we talk about career growth, you are talking about development and advancement, right? That will get you the career growth. I hope that makes sense, right? Everyone's tracking? Yeah, cool. So, the importance of career growth. Let's talk a bit more about the importance of career growth because it's very key. I was sharing with a gentleman earlier, and I said that sometimes you need to just understand why you do certain things, right? When you understand the why, it will help you. It will help you, motivate you to do more. The reason why we talk about career growth is that skill enhancement and the confidence that that brings, right? So it helps you, you develop yourself in a very good way, you develop your skill set, and then it will also make sure that you are very confident in yourself. Right? My brother was sharing about communication. We'll come to that in a moment. But it's very, very important to be very confident. Do you know what? A lot of people are earning money more than you, not because of anything. It's just because they're more confident than you. That's a simpler thing. And you see this everywhere. You see this everywhere. The sales guys that my brother was using as an example, salespeople are just confident. They feel like they can sell it to anyone. I've done sales before, and you see my career journey shortly. Yeah, you can sell anything to anyone. You feel like you've got that confidence to do so. Not saying that I'm a very confident person. I'm a very shy person, for those of you that know me. Right. So the next thing is increase motivation and fulfillment. Right? Increase motivation and fulfillment. It increases your motivation when you're at work. Right? You feel good about yourself. You feel like, I'm motivated today to actually do good things. And you feel like, I'm fulfilled. Like I'm fulfilling the purpose that of whatever you're doing. Whether you're in healthcare, whether you're in tech, whether you're into any other business, you feel like, I'm fulfilling something, right? So that's the reason, that one of the important things of career growth. And the next thing, which is the more obvious one that people always see, is promotion. Because whenever I've asked questions about career or career growth and development and enhancement, everyone talks about promotion. But that is an aspect of it, right? That's an aspect of it. So promotion and monetization. So as you go through the career development and career advancement, you will build up new skill sets. And that skill set will even help you to monetize that skill, right? So now if someone is paying you because of the skill, and it's not even your main job. You're doing your main job, and because you are now doing your career development and you're developing yourself, now you've gained more skills that people are willing to pay the money. I was having a conversation with my little boy who's just 8 years in the car, and I was saying to him that, do you know how, he was asking about money, and I was like, do you know how people make money? And I was like, you have to deliver value in order for you to make money, right? And I was sharing this with him, and it's very key. And how do you deliver value? You deliver value by making sure that you have enhanced your skill set, and then you can deliver the value. Does that make sense? So that's very important. And then the other thing is higher income. So one of the things is, as you develop your career, as you develop yourself and then advance, now you realize that your financial objective, which is the money aspect, is also follow along, right? You're getting now to the higher income and you're getting more money as well. And finally, job security. If you are such a person and I'm the employer, I'll recruit you any day because I know you go out of your way to study and learn, find the new skills, the new trends, and bring it to the organization. So you are not going there, you're not going anywhere. I'm keeping you. So you stay, any company that I've been at, they will love you for just being someone that goes out of their way to build their career, and you're not just there to do a job, right? Excuse me. Most of us, we just want to go and then just do our job. Excuse me. I've been coughing throughout the whole week. It's not COVID, so don't worry. We're good. Cool. So that's very, very important for you to understand. Since we're talking about career journey, I just want to share with you, there's quite a few things. I'm not going to read everything on the slide, but I went through a bit of memory lane to understand how my journey has gone over time. And I've started from when I was 16 because that was the first time I had my first part-time job. And this was back in the Netherlands. And I started as a hotel porter. So when the buses comes with those that are touring, holiday makers, comes to the hotel, and then they will stop. I'll go and take all their baggages from the coaches and then take it to their rooms and deliver. That was my first job. And at that point, and then I got paid cash, and I was excited because I felt like, wow, I'm making money now. Finally, I'm a man. I didn't know that there was a long way to go to that. After that, I went up working in the kitchen, in a conference hall. So I've been there, done that. I've done a lot of stuff, and I can see some people are staring at the screen and trying to see, okay, what else has this guy done? I've worked at PC World, I've worked at University of Kent, I've worked at Ibis Hotel. So I've been in different industries to actually understand, right? I've done my placement at Computer Science Corporation, one of the global companies, IT consultancy companies. Grad scheme, I did with Atos and Worldline. And also in a professional setting, obviously I've been in Experian, Capital One, and I'm back at Experian again. And you can see the promotions as we go along. If you look at the promotion professional column, you will see the promotions that comes along. It did not just come overnight. It's a hard and a long sort of nights, late nights, sleepless nights, studying and making sure that I get what I want because I had a plan. And this is what I'm going to share with you. If you want to also do the same and now be getting that promotion and everything else, I will share a few tips with you. And if you follow that and you're consistent, as our brother said, because you see that I'll be hammering certain things as well, then it's possible. It's possible for you to make it. It's possible, right? And if you look at the business column is another aspect because it's part of that journey. Because now I've developed myself in a different skill set that one of the businesses, like this, the Yankee Beauty Salon, a lot of you might not probably be familiar with. There's a business that my mom owns that business, but I did all the paperwork. I sort of did all the startups for stuff. I know what goes into a business, right? So that was probably my early thing with business, right? And then most of you will know Bex Flavor, and you think Bex Flavor is actually a business in a way. Because even though the content is coming out, someone will have to sit behind and actually think what you need to release, what you need to do next, right? So I'm kind of like the behind-the-scene guy, And as you guys see my wife, and she does all the YouTube. If you are not following, you're missing out. But yeah, do follow. And Lotus Academy is also another thing where we teach people to become more or less like me. I always say become like me, but now I have to change that terminology. It's not to become like me, it's to become a cloud engineer, right? Because I'm not just a cloud engineer. So that's that. And then obviously Lodex Properties is also another thing that, and then the ... you see there is just many other things that maybe I will not go through today, right? But that has been my journey. It's just to give you an insight. So what we're sharing here is not a joke. It's not as if, oh, we just feel like it. No. It's just because by God's grace, we've been able to go through different places and learn certain things as we go along. So wherever you find yourself, make sure you are learning. Because if you learn one day, you also will stand somewhere and actually share with other people how to do it, right? So it's very, very key. A lot of people feel like, oh, I'm only here to do a job and that's it. Wherever you find yourself that you're working, learn. Learn from other people. So steps for career growth, right? Hard work is essential, but it needs to be aligned with smart career growth strategies. And that's what I'm going to share with you. That's what I believe most of you want to know. So I've kind of built it up. So all of that I've given you is just the foundation to make sure that when I give you these points, it will kind of make sense, right? Cool. So the first thing is create a career goal. Everyone that wants to start something starts with a plan. If you want to travel, let's say you're going on holidays, right? What do? You plan your journey. If you're driving, you find your sat-nav, make sure your sat-nav is working. These days, sat-navs are in a car, so we are lucky to have that, or if you're using your phone. But the thing that you do is you're looking for a GPS. The plan is very, very important. A lot of people feel like, oh no, I've got a degree, I've graduated, I'm going to get my job, I've got my job, so that's it, I've arrived. No, you haven't. You're just starting. You don't know. When I graduated and I got to the big enterprise, I realized that I didn't know anything. University did not teach me the things that I needed to know, right? I'm not saying university is not good. University is very good. Go to university if you have to. But, because I've been to university, so go to university if you have to. But don't just rely on university skill set alone. Learn other things within an industry that you want to go into. So take your career in your own hands, right? It's very, very key. We need to take our careers in our own hands because it's your career. It's not another person's career. We all have our own journey that we're following. So it's very, very important for you to take that ownership. It's very, very key. Take that ownership, right? Your career is the greatest asset. So invest in it wisely. This is a quote from Brian Tracy, and it's very, very important, right? It's your greatest asset. A lot of people, when you ask them, what's your greatest asset? And they start thinking about the material things that they have. But you are the greatest asset that you have. And that's the reason why most people that are fortunate to be millionaires, billionaires, do you know what? Whatever that is making them money, if they lose everything today, they will still make more money tomorrow. They will still make more money. And that's important. That's important. And that's because they know they are the main asset. They are the main asset. And that's how you need to see yourself as well, right? So you set a clear plan, right? That will keep you focused on what you want to achieve, right? So it's very, very important. And then there are two tools that I've mentioned, the career map and the skills map. So career map is basically a progression of the roles that you aim to achieve over time, right? So you say, okay, I want to be a junior because I'm in tech, so I'll use tech roles. So I'm a junior software developer, but I want to go from a software developer to be a senior software developer, and then I want to go into a team lead, and then from a team lead, I want to now go into management, and then so on and so forth, right? That could be your career plan that you have. And then you use skills map, right? Skills map is to identify your current competencies and your skill set that you have. So you list down, okay, you want to go be a software developer. Do you know how to code? Which languages do you know how to code, right? You're listing out your skill set because you know yourself better than anyone else. So list those things out, right? And then you also list stuff that you know you will need for the role, but you don't have those skill set. And you just list it down. Does that make sense? Skill map, how does skill map work? Right? And those are the things. It's very simple. You can do it now, you can do it later, but it's very simple. Anyone can do that, right? Anyone can do that. And then you need to understand that after you've put those two things together, you are now working towards something because now you have a plan. You have a plan, right? So that's the first thing. Create a career plan, right? Achieving your goal requires both knowledge, which is knowing the right path to take, and action. It requires knowledge and action. And most of the times, a lot of people accumulate knowledge, but they never take the action, right? So I'm hoping that after today, you will actually take that knowledge and also take action, right? You apply what you have heard, and then you see results. If you just take it in and be like, oh yeah, that was nice to hear, nice motivational speak. Oh, trust me, I'll probably come here next year and you are still same person. Nothing has changed, right? And I hope that won't be anyone's portion today, right? Cool. So the first one is clear, right? We're all good on the first one. Now let's move on to the next one. Understand your company. And this I will stress a lot. How many of you work here? Raise up your hand if you're working currently. Okay, a few people. Okay. How well do you know your company that you work for? Okay. Some people are like, other people are like, don't pick me. Right. Why is it important? Okay, so if you understand the company, right, you understand their vision, their mission, the values of the company, because before you go for an interview, right, how do you prepare for the interview if you don't know the organization? A lot of people will prep very well, get the job, and forget about what they said in the interview, right? Whenever I prepare for an interview, I've got a card that I still follow even till date. It's very, very good. The first thing that I do is I research about the company. The next thing is I list out the competencies that they wanted to know in the job description. I list all of them out, and literally I'll put examples in from my life that I can actually use to explain those competencies, right? And then go through all of these things to the interview day. Some people do that. And then at the interview, they will say all of the good things. Oh yeah, I know this company, this your mission, your vision, the values. Oh yeah, this is what you do. After that, ask them 2 weeks when they get their job. Forgotten about it. But it's very, very crucial to understand your company. The reason for that is when you understand the company and how the company operates, right, then you will be able to navigate your way around the company. This building, how many of you know this building? Well, I'm expecting that you know. If you only come and you just come and sit here and you haven't been anywhere in this building, then you don't know anywhere. Right? So if I ask you to navigate your way around this building, you will struggle. But if you've been around every single room in this building like I have, right? If you ask me to go anywhere, I will find my way. And that's the reason why it's important. When you ask people, the company you work for, how do they make money? And then they look at you like, what do you mean? How do they make money? Always ask yourself that question, even now. Think about your workplace. How do they make money? It's key. Because if you know how they make money, you can position yourself in a proper place so that you are the one bringing the money into the organization. And I'm not just talking about sales, right? Sales is good. They do a good job. But once you understand, right, you can bypass the salesman and you can make more money, right, for you. So understanding the company is very, very important. Some people don't know how departments fit in together and how the pieces kind of fit in. If you don't know it, trust me, you will struggle in the organization. So that's another aspect that you need to know. It's very, very key. Okay. Now, continuous development. This goes back to the career development that I talked about, right? Invest in yourself. Especially, I can say this because I can only see black people. Black people don't like investing in themselves. That's the bottom line. But you've got to invest in yourself. When we are spending money to invest in ourselves, we don't want to. And this day and age, certain things are even for free. And we still don't want to. So now I've realized it's not the money factor. The factor is just we don't want to. And I'm hoping from today that will change. Right? That we will invest in ourselves, right? I invest a lot in myself, my time, and money, right? Why? So time and money. My next talk is about time and money management, right? Time is very, very crucial. A lot of people, you hear the phrase, time is money. Time is not money. Anyone tells you time is money, they're deceiving you. Time is not money. And then people are confused already. Don't worry, I won't dive into that conversation. That's a different thing altogether. But invest in yourself. I invest a lot of money in myself to make sure that I know certain things and I stay competitive wherever I go. So you spend over £1,000 a year to invest in yourself. It's a good thing. Invest in yourself. Because now it's the same way as my brother was talking about investment. You're putting £1,000 down and expecting some dividends to come afterwards, right? The same way when you invest in yourself, then those dividends is also going to come out where you will now give your skill set as a value to someone so that they can pay you. Does that make sense? So very, very key. Invest in yourself, right? So the same way money multiplies through compound interest, the effects of your habits multiply as you repeat them. And this is from James Clear, right, who wrote the Atomic Habits. It's very key. Both those of you that have read it, it's very, very key. Invest in yourself. A lot of people don't like doing that, but from today, I hope you do it, right? Learn regularly and maintain growth mindset. It's like these days, there's stuff on YouTube. Leverage the online courses. Like I've put this learning curve group.co.uk. There are free courses there. If you're a UK citizen, you can actually get free courses. Someone will teach you, and you get that. There's another one, free courses in England, excuse me, .co.uk, free courses. You can learn about project management in healthcare, some roles in healthcare and things like that. Do you know what? A lot of people sit there and be like, oh, I don't know what to do. Well, go and find yourself a course. Just learn. Because you got nothing to do, you might as well just learn. And that skill could hopefully in the future bring more money into your pocket. So invest in yourself. It's very, very important. Work on your technical and your soft skills. And I'm not just talking about tech people. Technical skills is if you're in healthcare, your technical skills is your technical skills, what you know, right? As a nurse, as a doctor, those are your technical skills. Keep that. But you also need to learn soft skills. And my brother also stressed on the fact communication is key. If you're not able to communicate what you want to say, then you will struggle. So communication is key, and that's the reason why you need to combine your technical skill and your soft skills alike as well. Because these are all stuff that is transferable skills that you need to have so that you'll be able to say what you want to say, project whatever you want to project, so that people understand you, and therefore you can end up being the one to actually take the big money home. All right? So it's very, very important. Right? Personal branding. I like personal branding because personal branding is what you do as you do your career development. You're building yourself in a certain way. This is how I want people to see me, right? So you're working on that particular brand. Anyone that has got a brand is working on the brand, right? So we're all working on the brand. And there's a quote that I've come across that I always say, dress for the job that you want, not the job that you already have. Some of you are still dressing for the job you already have. But start dressing for the role that you are hoping to get. Because bear in mind that when you see your managers and the other managers, they dress in a certain way. They talk in a certain way. They behave in a certain way. So if you want to be in their shoes, you need to start doing what they're doing. Because that's where you want to go. And once you start doing that, right, trust me, when your name comes and the managers meet and they want to now talk about who will get promoted, trust me, your name will come up. Like, we are Christians and we pray and we are saying, oh, God, help me. God will grant you that grace. But after God has granted you that grace, you need to take action yourself. You can't just be like, oh, I've prayed. Well, just say with prayer and just continue to pray. You are just wasting God's time. It's very, very important that you pray and you take actions. And that's the reason you're coming to seminars like this, so you will learn and apply those knowledge that you've learned from here. So dress for the job you want, not for the job that you already have. The next thing is build a professional network. I can't stress more on this. If you want to go anywhere in life, network is very important. Network is very, very important. I start with your manager. Your manager is critical to your career progression. Whether you like your manager, you don't like your manager, he's still critical to your promotions and everything else, right? So don't leave that relationship in the hands of your manager. You have to own it yourself. Build that relationship yourself with your manager. If your manager does not like you, take him to coffee, go to Starbucks, sit there and just have conversation. Get to know your manager, right? And then when he tells you something, listen. Like he's telling you about, oh, he took his son to football and everything else. You'd be like, oh, okay. The next day, ask him, oh, so what was the score? You're trying to build that relationship. You're trying to make sure that he'll be like, oh, I said something. You actually listen. And those are the little things. A lot of us black people, we go to places and we're like, I don't want to talk to them. These people, they are unbelievers. Well, it's unbeliever that's going to promote you. So you just have to accept it, right? And just go, move on and do you. Do you. And make sure that you're building the right networks that's going to help you push you to the next level, right? So don't be deceived by all this unbeliever kind of, we work with unbelievers. So just take it as that's how the world is like, right? You're not always going to work with Christians, right? If you're fortunate to have that, praise God to that, right? So build that relationship with your manager. It's very, very important. Build that relationship with your manager because it's very key to your promotion that you have. Also, in terms of network, make sure that you go on LinkedIn. How many of you have got LinkedIn profile? Raise up your hand if you got LinkedIn profile. Some people don't really want to put their hands up because they're not really sure what it is, right? If you don't have a LinkedIn profile from today, set up a LinkedIn profile. The reason being is, regardless of which sector you're in, having a LinkedIn profile displays your professional CV. Right? Where other people can see your profile and see what you are interested in. Follow companies that you are interested in. Because I'm in tech, I follow people like Microsoft, Amazon, AWS, like all these tech companies. I follow them. Why? Because they might post something that I might be interested in. They might post a job that I might be interested in. And my previous 2 jobs all came from LinkedIn. Right? So if you don't have LinkedIn and you are saying, oh, I don't have a job, I'm looking for a job. Well, you don't have a LinkedIn profile. How are they supposed to find you? Right? So LinkedIn is very, very key. How many of you have been to meetups? Right? Meetups are the networking sort of like meetings that people have. Like I know there's a tech one in Nottingham that occasionally I go to and stuff like. Find places where like-minded people or people that are in the industry that you want to get to, make sure you go into those spaces. And when you get into those spaces, you will learn from those people and then you use that to your advantage. So it's very, very important. Meetups, community stuff, events that you can go to is very, very key. Being good technically at your job is good. And it creates opportunity, but networking drives you further. Networking will drive you further. There are a lot of people that I know, they are very good at what they do. But because they don't like to speak to anyone, right? They just want to do their job and focus on where they are. They haven't even been promoted. They're in the same job for 20 years. They are still doing the same thing. So the choice is yours, right? Life is full of choices, right? So building a network can take time. So be patient as well, right? When you're building with someone, be patient. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to build it up every day. Sometimes I always say it's like marriage. You kind of have to build it up. You can't just wake up one day and be like, oh yeah, I expect you to be in the same way. No, you have to build it up over time, right? So that is key. Let's move on to the 5th one very quickly. Seek mentorship and sponsor. And then I'm sure people are now confused and they're probably asking, you talk about manager, building a relationship with manager and doing networks and all of that kind of stuff. What is mentorship and then sponsorship? Is it not the same as my manager? No, they're completely different things. So we need to get this right. Find a mentor and find a sponsor. Those 2 people are not the same, right? People that are ahead of you in your field. You need to have a mentor and a sponsor. A mentor is the one that will envisage like your next promotion. They are the ones that kind of open your eyes in what is to come next and things like that. A sponsor is the one that will advocate for you, right? And I'll give you a very good example in my life. So when I used to work at Capital One, I realized I got to the point I was doing a very good job. I was even doing like 2 roles because of my skill set. I was doing like 2 different roles that they actually need to bring 2 people to do that job, but then they're using just 1 person to accomplish those 2 roles, right? And then I got a bit frustrated because my financial objectives was not meeting where I was, so I got a bit fed up. And then I spoke to my manager several times, nothing was forthcoming. So there was this gentleman who was very, very nice guy. We play football and everything, we work people. So I went to him one time and I said, he's been promoted twice. So I went to him and I said, okay, I want you to be my mentor. He looked at me, he laughed, he smiled, and he's like, oh, are you sure? I was like, yeah, I want you to be my mentor. He's like, okay, cool. Again, I did not leave it for him because if I leave it for him, he doesn't care, right? So I schedule a meeting with him, and it became a monthly meeting. So monthly meeting, schedule a meeting with him, and we have a conversation. A few months down the line, I got promoted. What do you think he did? He gave me information that I didn't have before. He taught me how I need to make my work visible to people. I'm doing a lot of work, but it's not visible to all the managers. And as soon as the penny dropped, I was like, wow. And he became my mentor until I left the company. And even after I've left the company, I still speak to him. And I went to see him in the office that I left. We had coffee out at the front of the office. We had coffee together and we had a few conversations. And he was trying to get me back for another role. And I was like, no, I'm not ready for that. Right? This is what you do with mentors. You now build that relationship. Now he's now part of my network. Right? When it comes to sponsors, these are the managers of your manager, like other managers that are also the same level as your manager, that they will go and meet to discuss you. So if you have people that will advocate for you, guess what? It makes your manager's job easier. And then now, when they put your name forward, the promotion is likely to happen. It has to happen. Because you've got few people that are like, oh yeah, I know this person, I know Felix, a very good guy. Yeah, we'll do the job. This is how it happens. Everywhere you go, any industry, these are people you need. You need your manager, you need mentors, and you need sponsors. And if all these three people are in the room, guess what? You're definitely going to get that promotion. All right? So that's very, very important. Your promotion will not be solely dependent on your manager, right? So that's the reason you need a sponsor and a mentor also in there, right? Be a student and respect people's time. It's very key. A lot of people say, okay, I want a mentor, I want to be mentored, but you waste people's time. Don't waste people's time. Whenever I went into the meeting with my mentor, I made sure that if it was 30 minutes meeting, 30 minutes, everything that I wanted to say, I was ready, prepared for that meeting because I don't want to waste his time. And he saw, and even he came with questions that I helped him with. So I didn't waste his time. He also benefited from that relationship. It wasn't just one-way traffic. Always make sure it's not always one-way traffic. You are also helping that person in return. And that's how you will grow over time. Because of my time, I'm just going to rush very quickly through that. So this is the last one, actually. This is the last tip that I'm giving you in terms of career growth, right? If you want to grow in your career, these things that you need to do. Embrace leadership opportunities, right? Proactively seek responsibilities, volunteering for challenges, like challenging projects and organizing events. Do something is what I'm saying, right? And the church is the best place for this. What I'm doing right now is something that myself and your presiding elder has been doing for time. When the church was part of Leicester, when the whole church was like together with Nottingham District, we used to have a youth program every year, and we used to speak to the youth, encouraging them, talking about credit scores, talking about your career, the choices, the subjects you need to do, and things like that. And slowly over time, that has also helped me in public speaking. It also helped me with different things. I started from the church. Right? So it's very, very key. You need to understand that. The church is the right place where you can push yourself, volunteer for things. So don't let your presiding struggle to find people to do stuff. Volunteer, right? As you do that, guess what? When you go into your working environment, your workplaces, you will take the same character, the same attitude there. And that is what's going to help you. Some people, you talk about anything, they just sit there. I don't want to do anything. Okay? You think it's in church, you don't want to do anything, but what you're doing here is what you're going to take to your workplace. Whether you like it or not, that's what I've seen. And the people that volunteer at church are the people that I've also seen that they actually do well and succeed in their workplaces. So if you're thinking that, oh, yeah, your elders brought me to come and say this, no, he did not bribe me to say this. I'm telling you the truth. I know. This is my testimony, right? So make sure that you find something, because bear in mind that any role, no role is waste of time. You are learning something that is a transferable skills that you will pass on, you take to another place. So now when I'm doing presentation at work, guess what? Because I've been doing this, presentation at work is not hard for me. I just come and I just deliver what I need to deliver and I go. And people be like, oh yeah, how do you know this? And they don't know I've been training. I've been trained at church. So I'm ready. A lot of people that sing at church, you know those the musicians that are making big money, the Beyoncés, and they start from church. The church is the place where you can, at least you're allowed to make mistakes, and no one is going to tell you off. Within reason. I have to stress on that, within reason. Right? So make sure you volunteer yourself when you go to your workplaces as well, so that you create something. You're showing that you've got that leadership kind of ability, that management ability, right? Be an informal leader, right? So it's very, very key. Being an informal leader is basically you're leading without a formal authority, right? It's very, very key, because what you're showing to your company is that, do you know what? I can do this. I've been doing at church. I've been managing people, so I can manage people at work as well, right? And then as you do it, they realize that you've got a certain skill set that you're bringing to the table. And as you do that, guess what? You are now influencing other people. There's another talk that I've done in the past, and I talk about 3 things: inclusion, influence, and impact, right? Inclusion is whereby you get your foot through the door because of your technical skill set. You get the job. The influence is where you actually get in, you contribute, and you do hard work, so now you can influence other people and make decisions, right? Those are the people that are contributing very well, so they get the kind of the promotion. But if you want to get to the CEOs, if you want to get to like the top people that have the vision, you need to have an impact. That's the 3 I's that you need to have: inclusion, impact, and influence and impact. Impact is where now they sit and they want to take the thing out of one building to the community outside. You are just thinking about your small project. Start thinking big. Yeah, start thinking big. That's what's going to help you. So on this slide it says, well, focus on the rewards rather than the negatives. A lot of people think so negative about, oh, what about if I put myself forward and it goes wrong? Well, what about if it goes well? Have you thought about that? What about if it goes well? People will now be mentioning your name, right? So it's very, very key. Let's make sure we do that, right? Those are the 6 things. Throughout my whole career, these are the 6 things that I know it works. I've tried it and it works. And these steps that I've mentioned, all these 6 things, which ones did you know and which ones you didn't know? The networking, I'm sure some people know. My time is up, right? Yeah, it's kind of, yeah. And I haven't even touched on the other ones yet. But don't worry, that won't be too long. So it's very, very important for people, right? So yeah, you might know a few, you might not know, but if you don't know, at least now you know, right? So let me just quickly move on. Who wants to spend guilt-free? And my brother was asking the question. No one was saying about spending. I was sitting there, I was like, oh boy, it's going to be a tough crowd, right? Who wants to spend guilt-free? And what I mean by guilt-free is you spend without checking your bank balance. Everyone. Okay. You spend without checking your budget. You just spend because you can. Okay. Okay. So let's see whether you'll be ready for this, right? Okay. I've been asked to also talk about create multiple streams of income. I'm not going to spend too much time on it because it's a whole kind of talk on its own, right? So just a quick question, and just be honest. Is working multiple jobs classified as multiple streams of income? No, is working 2 jobs? That's the question. Is working 2 jobs classified as multiple streams of income? It is? Yes? No? Who? How many people say yes? Raise up your hand. Okay? And how many people are saying no? So there are more no. Okay. Okay. Right. Okay. That's interesting. Working multiple jobs is not multiple streams of income because you are using your time to now get something back. You're exchanging your time for money. So if you're doing 2 jobs, it's not multiple streams of income. It's the same thing, right? You're repeating the same cycle. So that means that you have to now work 12 hours out of your 24 hours to make income, right? Let's go to the definition. What is multiple streams of income, right? I've put here, never depend on a single income. It's risky. And my brother was talking about risk. I was laughing. A lot of people don't realize that this is risky, depending on a single income. And a lot of people feel like, let me just depend on my job. Oh, yeah, I've got a good paying job. These days, earning 60K in the UK is nothing. I know a lot of people might be surprised, but it's nothing. And if you're starting as a grad and you're paying you 30K and you're getting excited, don't get too excited. Oh, 25K even. The graduates that I know, they are earning about 30K, so that's why I'm using 30K as a benchmark. Some of them are even making 45, but yeah. But let's get this real. Let's look at the definition of multiple streams of income. So multiple streams of income refers to various sources of earning money that helps an individual increase their overall income and financial security. So it's very, very key that when you classify things as multiple streams of income, it shouldn't involve you too much. Right? So that's the reason why I said if you're doing multiple jobs, does that mean it's a multiple company? No, it's not, because it needs you for the money to come. And when it needs you and more of your time for the money to come, it's not multiple streams of income. However, if you work, let's say 7 hours, 7.5 hours, at a workplace where they pay you, you're exchanging your time for money, right? And then you go somewhere else, but you only spend maybe an hour to make the same money that you made 7 hours. That can be classified as multiple streams of income. Why? Because it needs you, but it doesn't need all of your time to make that kind of money, right? And then at that aspect where Bob was talking about investment, you put your money there and the money's working for you. That's a multiple streams of income. You don't have to be there. I'm not there checking my account and be like, oh yeah, telling this person, oh, invest it here. No. The money's just working for me. So I don't have to be there, right? So when we talk about multiple streams of income, this is what you need to be thinking about. I met a gentleman, this is an Asian dude, he's clever. The same skill, he has created 6 different ways to make money from that same skill. 6 different ways. He's making money from YouTube, he's making money by delivering courses, he's making money by selling products, and the same skill. Exactly the same skill. So it is possible. There's a quote from Warren Buffett that said, and again, my brother used Warren Buffett. If you don't know Warren Buffett, please go and find out, especially if you want to do investment. He's the granddad of investment, right? So he knows, right? He said, yeah, if you don't find a way to make money work for you whilst you're sleeping, you will work until you die. And it is what it is. Unfortunately, some of our forefathers, that's what they had to do. Unfortunately, they had to work very hard, and they didn't realize that if money was working for them whilst they're sleeping, it's actually a nice feeling. So I hope that from today we'll get to that point. Very quickly, I just want to talk about types of income streams. There's an active, passive, and portfolio income streams. And the active one is what most people know, right? Direct exchange for your time for money. That's the active one. You exchange your time and you get some money back. That's as simple. So your job, freelancing, bonus, commissions, that's what we do, right? The passive one is where you're making money earned with minimal ongoing effort. So the example that I gave you, right? There's a minimal effort from your side to get that money, right? So that's what's classified as passive income. And you hear a lot of like YouTube people trying to sell you stuff and then be like, yeah, do you want to earn passive income? And people are like, what do you mean by passive? That's what it is, right? So like rental properties and like affiliate marketing. So where you send a link and then affiliate link and then someone uses that link to buy a product from Amazon and then you get a bit of cut, a commission from that. That's kind of like passive because you're not doing anything, right? You're just sharing the link, but other people are doing the work for you, right? And the portfolio is kind of like the heavy lifting, which is basically earnings from investments and things like that. So we'll look at that in a bit more detail very quickly because of my time. So exactly the same thing again, but I'm trying to show you how you can create multiple streams of income, right? See, I know this statement might sound a bit, some people might think it's wrong. Little drops of water makes a mighty river. Like a lot of people might say ocean, but for the people that kind of like realize that ocean, some parts are kind of static. And then when we're talking about money, we want it to flow. River always flows. So that's the reason why little drops of water will make a mighty river. I like the river because it flows. I want my money to continue to flow, right? So these are the things that you can do to create multiple streams of income, right? First of all, identify your skill. So this is going back to the skills map that I told you earlier, right? Identify your skills, your talent, the competencies that you have that you can monetize. So the skills map, right? If you're able to do that, you know now you have something that you can package as a value and earn from it, right? So that's where to start. So some people, maybe you might be fortunate. Let's say your parents bought properties and then they've handed over to you. You've inherited that property, so you don't really care about the active side. Then you can push yourself maybe to the passive side. But for some of us that we started from the bottom and we want to go to the top, yeah? We start from the active column, right? Find something doing that brings money. Start from there, right? So that's the main thing. So if being a job, part-time job, I told you about I started a part-time job, just do that, right? You earn based on your skill and not your profession, right? So people will pay for the skill. That's what people pay for. So just make sure that you've got something. So have a primary income stream, right? And then grow over time, right? So if it's a job that you're doing, make sure that you do that job very well and use the 6 strategies that I've given you to grow within that so that your money will also become more. Now you have more money to now invest more as well, so that that investment can now help you to now have that passive income where you're not working too much. Does that make sense? Right? How these things are connected? Yeah. So main thing is find your skill set, make sure you do all of that, do it very well, advance in your career, and then the other things can follow. Right? So if you're here and you're working, you think, okay, how do I go about this? This is how you go about it. Right? Don't eat both the seed and the fruit. This is very, very important. And this concept is all about making sure that the money that you earn, you don't spend everything, but you break them. There's the talk that I'm doing later on, but money management talks about budgeting, and we talk about the 70, 10, and 20 rules, right? There are a lot of rules out there, but I use 70, 10, and 20. The reason being is the 70% is for utilities, things you have to pay for. The 10 is your giving, right? And then 20% is your investment. If you do that, you will live within your means. You will spend within your means and you don't go beyond that. And that's something that you need to understand. So that's what I mean by don't eat the seed, because God has created such a way that every fruit has got a seed in it. So if you're eating the fruit and eating the seed, that means that you're not investing. The seed is for sowing. It's not for eating. It's not for consumption. African people, we like to consume everything. Please, let's move from that habit and we'll not consume. Now, moving on to the passive column. So let's say now you've done really, really well, follow the strategies, the active is working for you, right? Now you're moving to the passive column, where the passive column, now you've invested in stocks and shares, ISA, as my brother was saying, right? You've traded a few ETFs and you're getting excited. Diversification is key. Make sure that's why I said S&P 500 is very key. You put your money there, just forget about it. It will grow over time, right? Real estate investment, rental properties, if you happen to be in a position to do so. If not, and you want to start in properties, you can even rent someone's house and rent it to another person. But make sure you got the permissions and you follow the legal compliances and stuff like that, right? Develop a side hustle. Like there's a skill that you have that you can generate money from. And people want big money. Just start. Even if that means that you've got a product that you're selling for £5. Start at £5. The £5 will accumulate and it will grow. All right? And then you can start some side hustles. Some side hustles that won't cost you anything. Affiliate marketing is one of them. It doesn't cost you anything. Just put a link there. Let people use it for products that you know people will want to buy anyway. And then as they buy them, you make a bill. Cut. That's as simple as that. Right? Online tutoring is another thing. And then over time, you scale that. And then it becomes a big thing. Right? And then the portfolio column is where the big boys are. So that's where some of us, we are trying to, hopefully, one day, by God's grace, we'll get to, right? Those are the people that just sit there and sleep, and the money just flows in. That's where we are hoping to get. Yeah. So those are the things I want to talk about, making or creating multiple streams of income. But you can see that having your career growth and that now helps you, they complement each other, and it helps you to now do better. Overcoming challenges, I want to touch on that because it's very, very key. A lot of people will leave here and be like, it's the fear. I'm not sure. How do I go about this? What about if I lose money? See, black people, we like thinking negative too much, but it's about time where when you start, whenever anything negative comes to your mind, start thinking, what about if it goes well? Right? What about if it goes well? Right? It's very, very important. Right? So failure, it happens. Failure is inevitable, right? It's yet to happen. But you know what? We live and learn. So you learn, you improve, and you move on. Forget about what you've lost. I've lost some money in trading. I've lost a lot of money And sometimes I look at my wife and be like, yeah, the money's gone. And yeah, it's a very difficult conversation to have, but now she's enjoying, right? Because when the money comes, you enjoy it. When it goes red, I had a friend who would call me and be like, oh, it's red, it's red, it's red. What do I do? And I'll be like, Master, let it be red. Stay red. And then he messaged me yesterday, actually. And then he said, oh, look, it's going green. I was like, yeah, you left it for a year. That's why it's green now. Right? So patience is key. Right? Lack of time. Please, I'm talking about time management later, but it's key for me to put this time thing in there. We all have 24 hours a day. No one has got 48 hours. So, see, when people say, oh, I don't have time, means that it's not a priority. It's as simple as that. We all have time. We will make time for anything that we think is priority. We'll make time for it, right? So set smart goals and work towards it, and just take your time to build up over time, right? Financial risk. Not taking action is a risk itself, right? So take the action. Everything is risky, as my brother said. So make sure you take those actions as well, and that will help. A bonus one for you guys, and then I will end there, and then allow some questions. Wealth creation recipe. I can't stress on this enough. The God factor, the 3 sets, and information and strategies. These are the things that over time, as I try to create wealth, these are the things that I found very key and crucial. The God aspect is because God is the one that gives us wealth, right? He's the one that will establish our plans, and he's the one that will order our steps. So no matter what you do, when you pray, as I said, you take actions. So you pray and you take action, and things will happen, right? After you have prayed and you have learned everything else, understand that these 3 sets are very, very key. To be successful, you will need a good mindset. And my brother was talking about mindset and about character, and I love that. Because you need a good mindset, you need a good skill set, and you need a tool set. Some people have got a skill, but they don't have the tool set, and that's why they're not generating money. Right? Other people have got the tools, but they don't have the skill set, and they're just there. So you need to understand that all these 3 sets are important. And once you have all 3, trust me, you'll be smiling every day. You'll be smiling every day. And lastly, information and strategy. It's very, very key. I was just saying earlier when I was talking to Deaconess Annabelle, and I said information is so key. The information I'm giving you right now, as I said, is free. But people will pay for information like this, right? We're giving it for free. The church has organized and giving you this for free. So make sure you take that information. If I give you a number right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, it means nothing to you. But if I say, oh yeah, that is my PIN code to get money from my account, a lot of you will be like, wow, let me take that card, right? I've given you information. So the 1, 2, 3, 4 was just the data that I gave you. But it becomes information when now there's a context that is added to it. And then that's very, very key. And then the strategy is basically having a strategy, because we all have a different level and stages in life, right? Every stage you get, you need a different strategy. So if you use the strategy that you're meant to use when you were young, you use that when you're old, you're not going to get anywhere. Use the right strategy for the right time. And then as you do that, you realize that you will see results. So to conclude the whole lot, you can do it. Creating wealth is not just for the rich. It's for everyone. You just need to have the right mindset, the right skill set, and you need to have the right tools set, and that's it for you, right? Invest in yourself. If you have to spend money, and learn. As the same way as the compound interest. You put money in and it will compound over time. Make sure that when you invest in yourself, it will also compound over time, right? Be consistent. It's very key. My brother said that, so I'm not going to stress too much on that. Be very, very consistent, right? And diversification is very key, because you need to be diverse in when you invest, because you don't want to lose money and stuff like that. So calculated risk is very key. And then the call to action is, regardless of where you are today, there's something that you can do better. It's either you're working on your career growth, or you've already achieved that, and now you want to start a side hustle to now bring the passive income in so that you can create your wealth. So that's what I want to leave with you today. This is the quote that I came across once. Yesterday you said tomorrow. Just do it. A lot of people like to say, oh, I'll do it. And yesterday you said tomorrow. We are now in tomorrow. So just do it. I'll end there. If there are any questions, I'll take them.